Good evening, everybody. My name is Kip, and if this is your first time on the channel, this is America Bumper to Bumper, and you are watching Car Chat with Kip. This is episode 9 of season 2. And what we do on this channel is we will talk about car news, we talk recalls, and tonight we do have a special guest. We're going to bring her in just a minute or so, but I first want to give you guys a little update on the channel and Facebook. Well, actually, I'm not even going to bother with that because it really hasn't changed. I think we're maybe down one more subscriber. So if you guys know anybody that finds this sort of stuff interesting, please, please, please share it. Let people know that we do this. We're also going to have some other content coming up. That stuff I will tell you about in just a minute, but we're going to now bring in our special guest, which has been with the show before. Hey.
Hi.
So,
how you doing?
We're doing great. How are you? How's things down in Virginia? That's a great way to start off.
You know. Real good.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So as I
sorry,
not a problem at all. So we started off saying that what we got going on that's going to be coming up here over the next week or so is this Sunday. I will be going to a co-worker's house. Unfortunately, her father had passed recently. And this guy's kind of an old school car nut. He is into the Model A, Model T, that sort of era of car. And all she knows is that he's got a ton of old car parts, and we're going to go in and check them out and see what kind of parts they have. And we're going to see about trying to help them get rid of some of that because it's just taking up space in a barn. So we're going to go do that. We'll have plenty of videos and a ton of pictures. So again, anybody on here, I know Walt, thanks for being in here. I really appreciate it. If you know anybody that's into Model A parts, I'm pretty sure it's mostly Model A, but she said there might be some Model T stuff in there too. If you know anybody that's looking for parts, send them to the channel and watch the videos once they have them up there, because there's going to be she says a lot of stuff. She's not a car person, has no idea really what it is. So keep your eyes open for that, and we'll have it up there soon. We're also going to have some more of course the live streams, and we're going to try to get to Kearney's and do some more how well it held up. And finally, probably after Thanksgiving is when we're going to start doing the offshoot. We'll do buy it or boot it all on its own, and then we'll just do the car chat stuff on here. Also see now we've got Benny in the chat room. Benny, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate you being here. So let's get into some stories. Now, Delaney, have you, oops, I'm on the wrong screen there. Have you seen anything, the commercials or anything for the Ford versus Ferrari movie that's opening today?
I have not, but I've heard radio ads about it.
Okay. This is definitely, I don't really expect you to be into it because this is a real, car movie that, takes place back in the 60s. So I know that's not generally your forte of, but I'm sure we could spend about, an hour or two talking about The Mandalorian if you want to. But anyways, this is a movie I will be seeing. I'm hoping to see it in the next within the next week or so. This movie looks like it's going to be outstanding, and from what I've read of a couple of reviews, it is really good. So, and a very good story of Shelby, who is played by Matt Damon, and Ken Miles, who's Christian Bale, played by Christian Bale, is going to be, it's supposedly a really great movie. So we're going to go out and watch that and give you guys a review.
We should do a review on it.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to throw that in there. And as this also goes, if you want to purchase the hero car that Christian Bale drives in the movie, there it is. This is GT40 replica made by Superformance out of California, and this is the Ken Miles hero car. Superformance built 2 of these replicas for the movie. There's this one, which is in the golf livery, and then there is one that is black, and it is portrays Bruce McLaren's car that actually won the 66 24 Hours of Le Mans. So if you're interested in a replica movie car and want to sit where Christian Bale's ass has been, you can get this, and they're expecting between $275,000 to $325,000 for this car. So, woohoo!
I thought you were going to say million at first.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming in here. I also see that my wife's here. I'm sorry for not, saying something to you earlier. Not very interesting, but maybe. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys want to watch something else and don't want to see Ford versus Ferrari experts, you guys can do that. This is kind of interesting, on your stream, Jason. Your wife was in the chat, and here we are, mine and mine. What a good day. And of course, I got even more with this lovely young lady that's sitting on the screen with me.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. It's just nasty.
Feelings.
All right. So now we're going to let Lainey talk for a minute. She found this story on Popular Mechanics about EV batteries that charge really quick. So take it away, my love.
All right. So despite what the article the title is, the article is about scientists who are coming up with a patent. So it's not quite there yet, but they think that they can figure out how to get electric vehicle batteries to charge faster than a phone can, which I think is just ridiculous, but it will happen. I firmly believe it will. So they said it with the lithium batteries, what you have to do would be heating it up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit and cooling them down really quickly. And so the challenge I face with that is doing such rapid temperature changes would short out the battery. So they're working to fix that so that vehicles would charge, I think it's up to 200 miles. Yeah. In as little as 10 minutes, which I thought was really interesting.
That is extremely interesting, especially when to get, I think it's a Tesla to like 80% charge nowadays with one of their superchargers is still like a half hour 45-minute job, I believe. I'm not 100% sure because EVs still aren't quite my thing, but yeah, if you can get it done in 10 minutes, that's going to change things definitely.
I know my Samsung phone takes at least half an hour, so if you can get a whole ass car to charge in 10 minutes, that's incredible.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to make that technology available into phones because Samsung had an issue with
exploding.
Yeah, so maybe not a good idea. Oh, and Delaney, I know that you probably don't have the chat up, but Jason.
I'll have it up.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Jason.
I didn't know if you had seen that or not.
No, I hadn't seen it until you told me.
Okay. All right. So, anything else you want to say about the EV batteries before we move on?
Honestly, that would make me want an electric car more, I think. If I could, it's just like the idea of an electric car and waiting for it to charge, and like what happens if you accidentally forget to plug it in and you need to go somewhere, Yeah. So if you could have something charged that quickly, I think that would make a lot of people's lives easier.
Yep. And yes, Jason, it is a little bit quicker to gas up your car, but
Oh, you gotta drive there first, man.
yeah, but
This isn't
you know, for EV car, you know, EVs to charge in 10 minutes, that's almost like us going and filling up our gas tanks compared to what it normally is. So that's pretty cool technology. Excuse me. Hopefully they can get this figured out, because it will make those people that are trying to save our planet to you know, lives a little bit easier.
Excuse me.
Oh, geez, nice. Demonetized. All right.
I said ass earlier, and you're thinking the burp is gonna.
Yeah, no, we get into it a little bit here. Okay. Next up, and we're staying on the electric theme. Guys, I think I may have said this last week or the week before, but it's looking like Hummer is coming back as an electric truck. And General Motors apparently has been putting a lot of money and time into developing electric trucks, and they have a slate of electric vehicles that are trucks, I should say, trucks and SUVs that are going to be coming out over the next few years. And it is looking like a low production, which probably is going to mean high buck, truck is going to be coming out in 2021, and everybody is swearing that they're going to put the Hummer name back on it. So that will be an interesting kind of thing, especially if they keep with the styling, maybe modernize it a little bit. But if they go with old school Hummer styling, like the H3 truck that you see here. I was never a really big fan of the H3 as far as the SUVs go, but you know, I think Hummer, you know, coming back would be kind of a cool thing. So anyways, they are looking at 2021 for the Hummer pickup, which will be a low volume model, presumably before GM ramps up production for the 2023 Hummer SUV. And then they're looking at every 6 months afterwards, putting out another electric vehicle, starting with the GMC Sierra, and then an electric Cadillac Escalade. Now, I have, you know, my question there is, with the amount of weight that these trucks are going to be moving around and payload, is the technology for batteries and motors and all that stuff, is that really gotten to the point where they're going to be able to support trucks like this? You know, I don't know.
It seems unlikely. They're just really heavy, right?
Oh yeah, they're going to be heavy, not, you know, just because of, you know, the batteries themselves, and then of course just being as big as, you know, the Cadillac Escalade's a Suburban, you know, so they're huge. That's a lot of weight just in that. So it's interesting. And yeah, Benny, that is the H3T, which is exceptionally rare. This was Hummer's last hurrah before GM axed them, and I think they looked, you know, they look better than the SUVs in my opinion. But yep, so it's looking like Hummer will be back before too much longer as electric vehicles. All right.
All right, what do we got next?
We got 12 cars that are losing their recommendations from Consumer Reports over reliability issues, which that is true, Jason. You know, Tesla is doing, you know, semi stuff, so I shouldn't I kind of forgot about Tesla and their SUV or in their semi truck. So oops. Yeah, so these are 12 vehicles Consumer Reports is no longer recommending because of reliability issues. I'm just going to get down to the list because it doesn't give all the pictures like I was hoping it would. But these are the vehicles that are no longer recommended by Consumer Reports, and some of these actually are kind of surprising. Audi A6 and A8, not a huge surprise. I don't think the BMWs are either. Older BMWs are, in my opinion, far more reliable. Then there's a few surprises. Buick kind of is a surprise, but the F-150, wow, how Ford has fallen. The Honda Pilot, seeing a Honda on any list that is a non-reliable sort of a deal is another one that's kind of a head scratcher. And beyond that, the other ones aren't really too surprising. Lincoln's had lots of issues. Mercedes, that's kind of a surprise again because Germans are generally supposed to be real reliable. Oh, Passport, not Pilot. I'm sorry.
Does it tell you why they're not?
It comes from the number of technical service bulletins and how much people have like sent in surveys saying that they've had to repair their car more than others. Sorry, Passport, not the Pilot. My bad. But still, I mean, any Honda on a list like this is just amazing. Mercedes, the Countryman from Mini, again, kind of surprising because it's really a BMW underneath. And the Volkswagen Jetta, I think they've had, Volkswagen's definitely had their problems over time, especially since Dieselgate had happened. But, still, seeing vehicles like the F-150 and any Honda and, a Mercedes on there, that's kind of surprising. Anything on the list that surprises you? Still with me, Lanny?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry. Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I was talking to you.
Oh, so yeah, the F-150 is a bit of a surprise to me. Only because built Ford tough in their truck state.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what came to mind when I
and
found that on the list.
Do you guys have a Regal? You have a Buick? What do you have?
You have a LaCrosse.
LaCrosse. Okay.
Yeah. Now, the older LaCrosses, I would say that after General Motors had their brush with bankruptcy and had the bailout, years following that, reliability got a lot better from what it was before the bankruptcy, before the bailout. But the Regal does, it's kind of a surprise there because that was kind of their bread and butter car for quite a while. It's gonna go just pop over to the comments for a minute. Benny is saying he's always finding the X5 and Audis in the junkyards, which again is why he's like not terribly surprised with those. Jason's only are saying Jetta because of the Dieselgate. That's a very good possibility on that one. But especially the older, Jettas, they're junk. I'm not sure, how the newer ones over the past, 10, 15 years have been, but older ones, not good. And you are right, Walt, Rough Rods, Restos, the Passport originally, when it came out in the late or mid-late 90s, was a Honda badged Isuzu Rodeo. Now they've kept the badge name and they've put it on a new mid-size SUV, but it doesn't have anything to do with Isuzu anymore.
Now, what is the year on these? Are these like this year? Or?
Yeah, I believe they're new. 2019, 2020s. Let's go back and make sure. It doesn't really. Quiet, Seamus. Okay. Doesn't say specifically the years, at least not what I'm seeing here. No, but it does here say, kind of how they got it. 420,000 vehicles. The surveys were sent out to about 420,000 vehicles to their owners, and they sent the feedback. So, and that's not just these cars that we were talking about. They send them out to all manufacturers, all different brands and models, that sort of stuff. So, excuse me. So yeah, kind of surprising on a couple cars, not so much on some others. All right. What we got next here? Cars that are new cars that depreciate the least. This is from Road and Track. And what do you think, Delaney, and everyone in the chat, what do you think is the number one vehicle? It's not what's on the screen right now. What do you think the number one vehicle is to keep or to have the least amount of depreciation after a year of ownership?
I'm going to say an SUV. I'm going to say...
you're going to be right. It's an SUV.
Oh, gosh. I'm trying to think of the SUV. Is it a Suburban?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Smaller than a Suburban.
Is it a RAV4?
No. That would have been a good one to have in there, but no, it's not a RAV4. I'll give you one more guess, and then we'll get into this.
Okay. Escalade.
Nope. All
That's
right.
big, I know, but
Yeah, the vehicle that depreciates the least over a year of ownership. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe this is over a 5-year ownership period. Anyways, I just want to make sure that it'll say that. I'm sure when I get to this. Hold on. Number one, Jeep Wrangler.
oh,
Yep.
That's not surprising.
Yep. Jeep Wrangler showed the slowest depreciation of any new car out there. This is according to I See Cars. Is that anything like I See Dead People? Anyways, it only loses 30.75% of its value over the first 5 years. So it is a 5-year thing. So that means you can go in Honda CRV. No, those aren't on the list either. If I remember correctly, we'll get through it in just a second. And you can see it all. But the Wrangler, you can look at getting only knocking about $8,700 over 5 years between a 5-year-old model and a new one. So that's pretty amazing. It's no friggin' SUV. Yes, it is. It is an SUV.
Is it are they pretty reliable?
Yes and no. They have their issues, but people just kind of overlook it because a Jeep is, for all intents and purposes, it's a kind of a status symbol.
Yeah.
They're durable. I mean, you can pretty much take them anywhere, but yeah, they do have some issues here and there. Like I think engine, for a while they're having some engine issues in it, but still not too shabby. Oh, and your mother's yelling at me that the Jeep's is the Jeep an SUV?
Are you asking my opinion?
Yeah, you.
No.
No, what is it then?
Okay, technically, yeah, it says it is.
Thank you.
I don't like that, though. It doesn't feel right.
Okay, you know what? Jeep, not cheap. That is very true, Walt. But on the flip side of things, if you want to go and lease a vehicle, you want to go for the Wrangler or the Gladiator, because they have some of the best residuals, and that means your lease payments aren't going to be as much as a lot of other vehicles. So there you go. Kip's tip for today. Number 2, and the next few are not terribly surprising for me. Toyota Tacoma. They are another vehicle that always has had some good resale and low depreciation. They only lose about 32% of their value over the first 5 years. And all you have to do is go to a Toyota dealership and look at an old one, and that you're going to be paying through the nose, because they just don't lose a lot of their value. Oh, and your mother's now saying it's its own category. Not until more companies have more vehicles like it. So maybe after Ford brings back the Bronco, and GM does the Blazer correctly, then maybe you can figure out your own category. But no, me, darling. All right, number 3 on that list.
That's another Toyota.
Yep, Toyota Tacoma. Toyota Tundra. This one loses 35.9%. Now you can see the screen. Can you read the stuff on the screen pretty good, great, Lainey?
Tacoma's biggest sibling is the Tundra, comes in at number 3 on the list. So yes.
Okay, so I'm going to let you. You can give read off the stuff for the next one.
Okay.
Oh, no. Guess what? It's another Toyota.
Toyota 4Runner. It loses just 36.5% of its value after 5 years, at a loss of $13,147.
And when these things are $40,000+ to start, yeah, that's not bad. Corrected Blazer, I like that. Yes, very much, Walt. I saw a new Blazer on a dealer lot not too long ago, and nah, it's not a Blazer. Call it anything else. Anyways, I'm gonna whine for another minute. Okay, let's move on the list here before I have a conniption. This
Porsche
is
911.
Porsche 911 from the original, the first slide. This loses 37.2% of its value, or $36,000.
Which is a lot of money.
Yeah, but when you're paying 90 to 100 grand for one of these things, I guess that's not too bad. Yeah. All right, you got next one there.
Sure. Honda Ridgeline. Let's see. It loses 38.1% of its value over 5 years, or is that 11,000?
Yep,
$11,426.
Yeah. And again, this doesn't surprise me. A Honda on the list, because they have always been known for having pretty good resale. What does kind of surprise me is, yes, it's a kind of truck, and that's kind of the thing that surprises me, is that it doesn't lose as much for being a kind of truck. You know what I mean by that?
It's ugly.
Not only is it ugly, but it doesn't. Although you can see the split right here, makes it look like it has a truck bed that's separate. This is all a unibody. It's all one piece. Which is why the only reason I say it's kind of a truck. Next up, and this one's kind of a surprising thing too, but it's a big ticket vehicle, so Nissan GTR, which is good for a buddy of mine who actually owns one of these things, which he hasn't lost as much value in his GTR, but it only loses 39.4% of its value over 5 years, or $44,000. Now, would it be interesting? Would be seeing the vehicles with the most depreciation over, because that's you see a lot of big ticket vehicles on that list.
Really?
Yeah. Rolls Royces and Bentleys, those cars generally take huge hits on their value over time, just because if you're paying 500 grand for something, people generally over 5 years aren't going to spend, that same sort of money to get a used one. They're just going to spend the money and get a new one.
True.
Next up we've got
Nissan Frontier. Let's see. 39.5% depreciation. Losing, was that $7,620?
Yep. And this
so
one,
they're pretty cheap.
Yeah, they're not very expensive vehicles to start with, but the thing that really surprises me is they have such such low depreciation. But this car has been around for 14 years. They haven't changed this thing in 14 years, and it still has that good of a resale and depreciation.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That blows my mind. And from what I understand, they have no plans, at least in the near future, to replace it. So anyway, hey,
it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh,
Pete.
All right, and this is our last vehicle for this particular list. The last one is the Subaru WRX. Yep, and it's the only one that's not an SUV or truck, but this only loses 40% of its value after 1 year. That's not good, but I'm sure that they screwed up that and it's supposed to be 5. But it loses about 11 grand over that 5-year period, which ain't too shabby. So that's a fairly interesting list. Again, not terribly surprised to see all those Toyotas in there, but I was surprised with Jeep being number 1.
So how much do you think my car is worth?
With yours is kind of special, being that it's a Prius. Yeah, okay, honey, I'm sorry. I'm just was reading what it said there. But you are right. The GTR is not a truck or SUV. They just wrote it wrong. The Prius is kind of its own special thing because it's hybrid, and it's really the best-selling hybrid because it's been out so long.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember correctly, when you bought your car, it wasn't terribly cheap for a car that was 10 years old, I think, when you got it.
It was 2018 when I got it. It's 2007, so it was 11 years old when I got it. It was probably about $3 grand.
Yeah, but it had well over 200,000 on it.
Yeah, it had well over 200,000 miles on it.
So I mean, $3 grand on a 10, 11-year-old car with over 200,000 miles. That's pretty good. Newer ones with lower miles, they have some pretty good. They don't have nearly as much reset or depreciation as, say, it's another hybrid that's not. Well, I mean, really, any of the hybrids are do pretty good. But you probably, if your car's running well and it doesn't have a bunch of dents and all that sort of stuff, you probably could get close to what you paid for it still, just because people want them.
I mean, it got a new battery in it too, so that helps.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, especially on those older ones. And you know what I actually found out, although you're out of mileage, Priuses had like a 10-year warranty on their battery.
Yeah, I heard that.
But yeah, and then they just upped it to, it's still 10 years, but the mileage went up for the 2020s. But yeah, so a good thing. All right, so we're now on to something that we all can salivate over, and that's going to be Ferrari. I had no idea that they had put out so many new cars this year, and it was, as you can see down here, they put out 5 new cars. They say 5, but when you get into the article, you'll see that it's more like 3.5. But let's get into it here. First, Ferrari that they brought out for 2019 was this car right here. This is the F8 Tributo that was released in March. At the time, it came out with Ferrari's most powerful V8 engine ever, a twin-turbo 3.9 liter V8, 720 horsepower with 568 pound-feet of torque. And then May rolled around, and they decided to up themselves, and they brought out the SF90 Stradale, which again, which is a hybrid vehicle, 986 horsepower. The Stradale also introduces Ferrari's most powerful V8 engine. They upped themselves in just a couple months by having a 4-liter turbocharged that puts out 769 horsepower. So that's pretty insane. Priuses or Prii? Yes, it's definitely got to be a Prii there, Jason. September, they put out 2 convertibles, the F8 Spider, and that's why I say 3.5, because the F8 and then the Spider, I don't really call those 2 separate cars. They're just just chopping off the roof of one. But and then there, of course, the 812 GTS, which I wish they had some more pictures of those up here, and I wish I had thought to find them elsewhere. But hey, I'm still working on the show.
And to answer your question, Mom, I don't know how I feel about it.
About the what? The Ferraris?
The picture.
Of the Ferrari, of this one?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
It's kind of an interesting looking thing. I will tell you the one that I do like, and this is the one that they just released over the past month or a few weeks or whatever. It's the Roma, and that's this one here. I gotta say, that's kind of good looking.
It's not bad. It's very futuristic looking. Yeah,
it's definitely not the vibe that Ferrari's had over the past few years, but that's for a front engine GT car. That's kind of sexy.
Dad, do you know their slides? Do they show you anything on the slides up there?
Unfortunately, it's all of the Roma.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. That just kind of, and they don't even show a lot of the the pictures. It's all who cares about? We'll get to the Corvette in a minute. Oh. But yeah, it looks good. Yeah. So, anyways, this story is actually not about fully about what the cars that they launched this year, but they're saying that they aren't going to be debuting as many new cars this year, because apparently they want to put out 15 new models over the next 5 years. This year included. So over the next 4 years, they're going to have 10 more new models, which is mind-blowing for such a small niche manufacturer like Ferrari. I mean, they're not
specialty manufacturer.
Yeah, they're definitely not putting out the same amount of cars as, say, General Motors, who can really more or less afford to put out new vehicles, that many new vehicles in such a short time.
Well, rich people buy it, so.
Yep. And Jason, you're actually pretty accurate. It kind of does look like the C7 Corvette, especially when you look at it from the side there. Just change the headlights up a bit, and that's pretty fairly close. But then again, I think it's because General Motors took some liberties on making it look like a Ferrari when they originally designed it back in and released it back in 2014. So yeah, all right. You're going to be up on your next story about idling your car.
Yeah. Okay. So, basically, it's telling people in Massachusetts that they could have a hefty fine for idling their car for more than 5 minutes in the winter. Fine. First offense is $100. Continued offense is $500. And they put this in place to reduce air pollution, which like on the one hand, in a big city, like makes sense, but on the other hand, if you've been anywhere that has like really cold winters, you know how much of a pain it is to sit in a frozen car
Oh,
while your engine heats up. So
trust me. Yeah, Jason, most of the people that are in the chat, maybe except for Benny, because I know you're down in Texas, but everybody else that's in this chat, they know. Boy,
yeah,
do they know.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so like I am of two minds about this.
Yeah, no, actually, Vermont has a law similar. I don't know what the fines are, but they do have a no idle law.
And
Um,
and I when looking for this, I'd actually found New Jersey has a very similar law, and so I think more people are enacting it, which is, like I said, understandable because everyone's been pushing the whole cutting emissions thing. But at the same time, like especially if you have young kids and you're gonna sit them down in a cold ass car, I mean, come on.
yeah, yeah, and a lot of cars, it takes more than just 5 minutes to get it warmed.
Hmm.
We are in
Especially
the
from that
north.
cold
Yes, that is very true, Jason. We are in the north. Yep,
north. And
yep,
even down here, so it still gets pretty cold down here. Not as cold as you guys, obviously, but like even in this area, in the winter, you still idle your car to warm it up
yeah,
because
yeah. I mean, it's the way of life for anything above like North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina, they get to 40, and I'm sure, probably even they get a little bit colder now and again, but and probably they want to have their nice warm cars, but I can definitely see these sorts of laws, Southern California, Arizona, all that stuff. But I'm sure that they would also complain that their cars get very hot and they should be able to get their cars cool with their AC, which, hey. Just need to figure out a new way to be able to have. There's our $1 million idea, Lane, is come up with a system for maybe an electric system to heat your car rather than starting it. It'll just turn the heater on and you could have. We'll have to talk about that.
I was gonna say, way to share our $1 million idea with everyone on the stream.
Well, let's see how many people we got in the stream. 3. I think we're pretty pretty safe at the moment. Well, you got Jason. You'd have to have a bylaw officer on every street. Yeah,
Yeah.
amen to that. It's going to be really hard for them to keep on top of that, but I'm sure there's.
Well,
They'll probably go ahead.
I think it's the premise of it that's more important than the actual enforcement of it. They just want to scare people because scaring people is easier than actually enforcing it.
Yep. But I wonder if at some point, if they really want to push this law and push the fines, if they start rewarding people for turning in others.
Oh.
Because that could be, that would be a pisser. That would be.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about idling. So I've kind of found interesting, and also kind of a duh sort of a thing. Ford and Chevy are losing buyers after discontinuing compact cars. Of course, any cars they have sold, it's compact. They're not selling them anymore. They've lost those customers. But maybe they're actually losing more than just those compact buyers. Let's see what this is one article I have to confess I did not fully read. So,
Dad.
I know. New report from Edmunds shows the decline in brand loyalty since they ended the production, which is it is kind of a. I see both sides of that story. I see where they aren't selling a lot of these vehicles, so why put the money into developing them if they're not selling? I can see that, but having a full line of vehicles makes it easier for people to be able to go in with, say, a family member, younger kid, like you, me go into a Chevy dealer and say, hey, you know what, I'm really happy with whatever car this Buick, the Chevy is, smaller. It's a GM. I want to get you into this. Whereas maybe without those cars, especially since, everything else that they're replacing them with the SUVs are a bit more pricey. So that makes sense now. Okay, what does it say here? Fewer Focuses and Cruise drivers are trading in their vehicles for new Ford and Chevys models in 2019 compared to 16. Again, not terribly surprising. The Escape and the Equinox crossovers are among the top vehicles that owners trade in Focuses and Cruises for. Yeah, because, that's basically the same size vehicle, just in SUV form. So are competitors such as Honda Civic and Toyota Corolla. That's kind of interesting that people are giving up their Civics and Corollas for Escapes and Equinoxes. Interesting. So again, it's kind of a silly story because it's going to be kind of evident that they are going to lose buyers because they're not selling a full line of cars anymore. But the reasoning kind of makes sense now that I read the article.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I hang my head in shame.
You expect me to be prepared for these things, but you don't prepare yourself. Shame.
Shame. Well, it's the only one that I didn't. Said earlier we're going to talk about Corvettes, and it is, everybody bow your head, moment of silence for the last front engine Corvette built. Okay, that's enough. This car that you see before us is the very last front-engine Corvette that has been built, and it is the last out of 66 years of production of front-engine Corvettes. Last one. It is a Z06 Coupe. And it has already been sold to through a charity for $2.7 million. Yeah.
That's
see
impressive.
and it is a very good cause now that I look at it. 2.7 million. The proceeds going to building smart homes for veterans. So hats off to you, General Motors, or whoever put this auction together, because that is a absolute. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Thanks for popping in. I know you're gonna have to get your kids to get into bed soon, but I'm very happy to see you in the stream. But yeah, now Bowling Green is shifting to getting the plant ready for the 2020 mid-engine Corvette, which starts production in just a few more months. Yep, this is a black C7 Coupe Z06 spec with the 3LZ trim, and it was at $2.7 million. Jeez, that's just. But the thing is, other than the fact that it went to charity, there's really no difference between this and any other Corvette. So it's not going to retain that $2.7 million price if it's my. Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am.
What?
Answer my freaking question.
Oh.
So that's an important question. I really seriously want to know if that's what the.
Oh, I apologize, people. I have not been paying close enough attention to the live stream, and I have a woman yelling at me over here. So.
That's. I'm wondering if that's sort of
okay.
Part of the whole deal.
So my lovely wife asks, is it about pushing people into costlier SUVs? I would say yes and no. I say yes because that's what people nowadays seem to want, is an SUV over a sedan. But I think it's also that they aren't selling as much of the of the sedans, and as I said earlier, why put all that money into developing a car that's not going to sell? Now, that's kind of a
See, for me,
double-edged
that's just a
sword.
dumbass idea.
It is. Especially settle down the peanut gallery. Yeah. You tell her, Jason. When car companies like Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, all of pretty much everybody else other than your domestic car companies. Honey, be nice to Sean. He's a good guy. If everybody else can, see that there's still a market and a reason to build the sedans, it makes sense to have something. You don't need to have like 5 different offerings, in the sedan market, but if you can cover, in 2 cars what you're doing in 5, it's still worth it to have those 2 cars, because people are gonna. There's somebody that they didn't sell none of these cars. They didn't sell tons, but I think Chevrolet. You had the Spark, you had the Sonic, you had the Cruze, you had the Malibu, Impala. I mean, that's 5 or 6 cars right there. You don't really need that many.
Give me a small car any day. They're so much easier to park.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not as scary to drive.
Exactly. So it makes in my non car business mind, it makes sense to still have to still offer those. Just pare it down. I mean, the Ford Focus, they got rid of the Ford Focus, and the Focus was still a good selling vehicle. They weren't burning up the market like the different SUVs that they do, but there's still a market for them. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Bring back the grandmas. Yeah, Jason. Yes, I do agree there. And do you know what he's referring to there, Delaney? Grandma?
Yeah, the Grand. Well, he has one. I just forget. It's the Grand something.
Marquis. Yep.
Marquis.
Yep. Yeah, and that's definitely something I'd love to see, is another body on frame full size car, but that's never going to happen again. And Zelda's, yes, poor Zelda, she's all covered with snow. So, anyways, it is now officially the end of the front engine Corvettes, and that does make me a little bit sad.
All right. Do you allow cursing?
What?
Do you allow cursing on your live streams?
I prefer not, but it depends on as long as, huh? Well, it depends on what you're going to say. If it's going to be the F, no, please refrain. But if it's going to be something a little bit more mild,
it's fine. I can figure out a way to show my enthusiasm without swearing.
On the next one?
Yes.
Where we're going to? Okay. Go ahead, because I'm going to say it. I'll say it too, because that's yeah. Anyways, this is another article that Delaney brought up, and we'll just give you the headline here. McLaren's 1.7 million supercar. Now let's go show you what it is, and you can talk about it there, my girl.
So this thing is insane. So basically, it's no windshield. So what it does is those little like venty things on the hood. From what I can gather, it sucks in air and then just shoots air right back out right in front of the cockpit.
Oh,
so you don't.
Yeah.
So it creates almost like an invisible windshield.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's real. That's McLaren's. They're nice cars. They've never. Hey, Pete. Glad you're in here. Don't worry about you being late. Whenever you get in here is awesome. what do you think about the two GNX in the newsfeed? I'll get to that story in just a minute with you, Pete. But this McLaren, you are right. It is bleeping insane. I'm not. The McLarens that have been out recently haven't really done it for me, but this is kind of making me drool.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it again now, and it says, in the event the car flips over in a crash, occupants will be protected by an automatic rollover protection system. It will go from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. And they're only making 399 of them, so get yours now.
399, and they're charging 1.7 million for them.
And then it says that's without a sound system, and so the new McLaren Elva supercar costs 1.7 million, not including options like a sound system or exposed carbon fiber body panels.
So
this is the base model.
Yeah. And Jason, you are correct. The McLaren GT does look really, really nice. That's another one. The older stuff is not, doesn't really do it for me. But they're I think starting to hit their stride as far as design go, and that is just nice. Okay, enough drooling.
So they where's the windshield? So they'll have an option available because I think in the US you legally have to have a windshield. So they'll have that available. But what I was saying earlier is that the vents on the hood will suck in air, and then right in front of the cockpit shoot it back out, and like a pressurized stream of air to prevent anything coming. So.
Yep. But it is kind of insane, Pete, that you are going to spend 1.7 million and have no option for a roof. But the thing is, those 300, it's what you say, 399.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to sell every single one of them, and every one of them is going to be a bit different, and people are going to absolutely love them, which is just fine. But that's yeah, we're good. Yeah.
So you closed one of your tabs. Did you mean to do that?
Yes, I did. It's a story that I didn't want to worry about right now. Our final story: Nissan, and get this, they are recalling 394,000 crossovers and sedans over a fire risk, but this is not the first time that most of these cars have been recalled. Yes, I say that again. Nissan is recalling 394,000 for risk of fire. 215,000 of these vehicles have already been recalled for this issue. Now, Nissan is explaining that some of them didn't, at that particular time, didn't need to be repaired or were recalled and unrepaired for some reason, which is kind of Pete, yes, I put my order in for that McLaren as soon as I saw the picture, because I've got 1.7 million lying around because I make so much money on YouTube. Anyway, but yes, but they have also expanded this recall to include 179,000 more vehicles. And the problem and why they're doing this recall is the anti-lock brake system. There's a pump that a seal in there can deteriorate, and it can cause brake fluid to get onto a circuit board, which shorts out and then causes a fire. The thing that surprises me, and we'll go through the vehicles that are affected in just a minute, but this is what Nissan is telling people. If their ABS warning light comes on and it stays illuminated for over 10 seconds, you should park your vehicle outdoors, away from other vehicles and structures, and do not drive it. Keep it away from areas that could cause, as they put in here, kind of a funny little thing. Keep it away from areas that could start a massive forest fire. So that means all you people out in California that have these vehicles, driving to Nevada, maybe, I don't know. But they're the vehicles that are covered under here is the 2017 and 18 Pathfinder, the 16 to 17 Maxima, 15 to 17 Muranos, and the 17 Infinity QX60. Yeah, I like Walt's idea in here. Yeah, definitely park it next to a lake, or even better, park it in the lake. And it does not say how many of these have burned up because of this issue. At least nowhere that I could find. But just make sure, do not park it anywhere that it could catch anything else on fire. Okay, so that
explain to me how if your car is about to burst into flames and you have like children in the back, how are you supposed to get them out?
Well,
just
go to the one that you like the most and make sure you get them out first.
Let them fend for themselves.
Yeah, that makes no sense. But hey, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Just drop everything you're doing if that happens.
Yep, absolutely. Just run it into the ditch, grab everything that you need out, and just kind of let it burn. Oh boy. All right, so that's our final story for tonight. Now let's Facebook crashed. It's always doing that on me. So we'll see how parking. Okay, let's see what we got here. Leave the keys in it, let somebody steal it, problem solved. Yes, there you go. Sacrifice the kids from Grace. Okay. Well, hey, you're the kid. Oh, we don't have one of those cars. Anyways. Okay, let's get into Marketplace.
That meme?
Yes.
Relatable.
Oh, I missed that. Let me it's probably not.
You're probably not gonna see it again. Nope.
Of course. I missed it. All right. It is now time, my friends, for Buy It or Boot It. I'm still working on some sound effects to go in there. Where, Delaney, do you want to look at cars?
Hell, Ohio.
Hell, Ohio. Okay.
Yes.
Hell, Norway. Michigan.
I'm pretty sure it's Ohio. Oh, we could do Michigan.
No, we're going with Hell's Corner, Ohio.
Sure.
Or do you want to do Hell, Michigan?
Either way.
No, you pick. It's your,
Michigan.
Hell, Michigan. We're going to Hell in a handbasket. And what do you want price-wise? We're gonna
let's do it real junker. Let's do 500 to 1,000.
500 to 1,000. Ooh, you're really going low. 500 to. Well, we're gonna go 1,500. How about 1,500?
Sure, 1,500.
Okay, what do we got over here? That's what the dog looks like when it finds out its owner bought a Mustang. Oh, Camaro time. Yeah. Well, that's kind of true. I'm kind of. Whoa, God. Ooh. All right, people. Hey, Jason, thanks for stopping in and staying as long as you did. I really appreciate you being here as always. Look forward to stuff that's going on with you, which, I'm not going to say anything because I said I wouldn't. Just like, yep. All right, let's go, people. What do we want to take a look? I'm going to take a slow scroll through here and somebody yell out a car and I'll go back and find it. The Brom. Okay. Pontiac. All right. What do we got for the ad in here? Original 88,000 original miles. Could use a right passenger fender. New exhaust has 2 AutoZone exhausts on it right now. I'm wondering if they mean mufflers, but okay. Right now, not loud, sounds like it has straight pipes. Okay. Runs, drives, stops, hot heat, has a lot of new parts on it, and in the trunk also has new pads. Okay, cool. Doesn't burn oil or leak any fluids. Has just under half a tank of gas. Oh, that's worth the $1,200 right there. $1,200, 86 Pontiac Brougham, 88,000 miles. Let's look through the pictures that they have. Of course, I can
Looks
see
like there's some surface rust already.
Yeah, there's a bit of cancer there on that driver's side fender.
It looks
Chrome doesn't look too bad.
like every old Buick ever.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm gonna be ignorant.
that's all right. Oh wow, look at that. That's pretty cool stereo there, popping out the. Oh, yep, definitely can see where they're saying could use a new passenger fender and a new bumper.
A decent roof.
Yeah, definitely. Well, both front. And I would like to see what the rocker panels look like. Oh,
These seats are bad.
classic 80s velour interior.
I mean, decent condition.
Thank you, Sean, for sending me that meme. I appreciate it. Now I can actually see it. All right. So what do you guys think? Buy this 86 Pontiac for $1,200, or are you going to kick it to the curb?
I would not. There's so much rust, I'd be afraid of, like, what's underneath.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, and oh, there it is. You're right, Walt. I was looking at all those Lincolns and wishing they lived a little bit closer, because I'd love to use some of those parts for on Zelda. Yeah, that'd look nice. Anyway, I don't know. Was that the right Brougham, Pete? Because I just noticed there was the 80 Fleetwood Brougham. Jeez. Okay, well, let's see. We got Pete saying, but the color matches the planters if they come with it. Fit $1,200 all day. All right. Yeah, it's actually, for what you're getting, that's not bad. You got to check out those planters again, because I missed it apparently. Oh yeah, okay, I got it. Planters. There. Nice people, nice.
Mom says the maroon olds.
Maroon olds. No, the 98. Sticking with the old GMs, are we? All right, sounds good.
Oh, this looks better.
Kind of looks like it could be in the same part, same driveway. Okay. And Pete, if you were talking about the Fleetwood, I'll go back to that in a minute. All right, 126,000 miles on an 83 Olds 98 Regency sedan. This one's in Toledo, Ohio. So apparently, Hell, Michigan is not far from the Ohio border, because this is only a 100-mile radius. And what do we have the owner saying about the Regency? It's an 83 solid for the year, runs and drives good, all original, straight body, message me for more, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's take a look through those. Has nice skirts. That is a nice feature you don't see on a lot of these older cars. Oh, more crushed velvet or velour interior, and that red.
So sexy.
Oh yeah. Actually had a Caprice that had pretty much that same interior, other than the wood on the door there, but same color, same velour.
Something about it gives me the heebie-jeebies. All I can think about is like how gross they must be.
That's true. Looks like it's had some rust repair on the back there, but overall,
All right, Dad, someone's leaving.
all right. Thanks, Sean, for coming in as long as you did. Have a good time putting those kids to bed. And as always, I'm going to try to get in there on Sunday to your live stream. Anybody that's in here that does not check out his streams on Sunday, they're at 9 o'clock. And it's always a good time. So buy or to boot it, 83 Olds 98 for $1,500,
Does it say it run?
126,000 miles. That says it runs and drives good. Good.
Yeah.
But what is good? Yep. So I pretty cool. I would do that for $1,500.
Yeah. Mom said the Roadmaster.
That thing. Oh,
I
okay.
guess.
Okay. Or this Roadmaster.
I don't know.
Bye. Everybody's saying bye on the Regency. Cool. Let's see. I think we're going to take a look at this Fleetwood first, and then we'll move on to, what does your mother say? The Roadmaster. We'll go with the Roadmaster. We're going GM heavy on this.
She said the second one.
The second one. Okay, yep. We'll hit that one in just a minute. We're going to look at this Fleetwood.
I have to ask, is she in the living room?
No, she's in the bedroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now we are taking a look at a 1980 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. It has got 80,000 miles, $1,495, and we've got a little bit more of a description here, which is kind of nice. Exterior is in good condition considering it has no or virtually no rust. Will need to be painted. The clear coat is gone. Okay, that's pretty typical for an 80s GM vehicle. Some of the plastic panels will need to be replaced. Again, not terribly surprising because it's 80s quality. Rebuilt 350, original carb was not salvageable. Okay, so it's new carb on the 350. Currently does not run because it needs the carb. Okay, cool. Interior is in very good condition. All right. Let's take a look through the, it's okay, the Brougham must be, and it's a formal limousine. Interesting.
Yeah, it's something just looks wrong about it.
Well, yeah, back in the 70s, 60s, 70s and stuff, they didn't have the same sort of technology to really stretch a limo, have those really big stretch. So this is what they did, add on, about a foot or so, and just have like jump seats, like right in here, and that would be kind of your limousine. Once the mid 80s hit is when they started getting the technology to really be able to stretch them out. But yeah, it looks it's definitely got kind of an odd looking thing.
I say boot.
Well, you're not the only one. That's typical 80s car right there, but that is a big car.
Yeah, it's
okay.
a boat.
Okay, so we got Laney saying boot. We've got Pete saying boot. I am also saying boot because if I'm going to buy something for $1,500, yeah, I know you're not going to get the perfect car, but I want something that's you don't have to worry about doing a ton of work to, especially something because these things are kind of I don't want to say a dime a dozen, but they're not really that desirable. Interior does look pretty nice, but okay.
Did Gracie write that comment?
I'm sure she did. I'm sure she did. All right. Now we're going to stay with the theme of the GM, and we're going to hit this 92 Buick Roadmaster Limited Sedan, $600 whopping dollars. And let's see what the owner writes. In an accident, no mechanical issues, just the body. We'll take a look through the pictures, but I am not a fan of accident vehicles. Some parts hard to find. On the the Cadillac, yeah, some things are a little bit hard to find. I want to see the damage. Where the hell's the damage on this car? Oh, there's the damage.
There we go.
Yeah. Nope. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Bad for the economy. All right, let's take a quick gander down through some more.
Trying to think of something that's like.
Oh my gosh!
Is that? Oh, hey, it's Delta.
Come on. What is that? That's just weird.
It'll buff out. Yeah, I doubt that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Definitely. Oh, no. Sorry, folks. It's overheating. That is a no-go, but oh man. So it's got my chrome though. Oh. It's even the same color, mostly.
Yeah, no, Mom.
Just grab your plunger. Yeah, definitely. Okay, sorry guys. I got sidetracked by pretty, Lincolns there. All right.
I'm trying to think of like some weird place where they'd have some interesting cars.
Paint correction only. Interesting cars? Oh, that's
I'm trying to think like would Florida have like interesting cars? I don't know.
let's see what Miami has.
I was thinking like boonies, but yeah, Miami works.
Miami? Oh, you want boonies, Florida?
No, Miami's fine.
No, you want somewhere boonies.
I want to see if we could get like lifted trucks.
Oh, all right.
Tallahassee.
Somewhere in Texas would be more for a lifted truck. Let's go with.
See what Mexico has.
Waco, Texas. We're gonna have to spend more than
yeah, of course.
$1,500 Let's go
15 to 3.
Let's go $5 grand, $5 to $7 grand.
Okay.
See what Mexico has. I don't know if we can. Can we get Baja, Hungary?
Baja is BAJH. Sorry,
yeah.
BAJA.
Tijuana? No, I don't want to go Tijuana. What do they have in Mexico City? Wow, they do have vehicles. And oh my God, are they
junkers?
Yeah, definitely interesting vehicles. The Rusty Van, Texas, close enough. Okay, well, we're gonna go back to Waco because that's actually they've got some vehicles from across the border in here as well. Or is it still saying?
I think it's still saying Mexico.
Waco, Texas. Okay, there we go. Yeah, $5 to $7 grand. Rusty.
Oh, you talking about the really rusty one right there?
Oh, there we go. 77 Dodge, and that's not rust, my darling. That is patina. That is patina. Just so you know, a lot of people love that sort of patinaed look. I think it's rust. Anyway, a lot to go on with this ad. Cash only, runs and drives well. Okay, way to go.
Some sketchy shit's gone down there.
Yeah, and there is no way in hell it's only got 6,700 miles on it. Just saying. That's not an Aztec on the front page. I don't know. We'll have to go back and check out and see whether there's an Aztec.
Free ice cream man.
Yeah, that's definitely one you don't want to drive slowly through a school zone because you're getting pulled over. Yeah, definitely. Although you guys can help me out on this in the chat. Wasn't the van in some of the early A-Team shows, wasn't that a Dodge, or was it always the GMC? Of course the door matches. See the rust right there? Yes, definitely has the A-Team rims on it. Now, those are definitely A-Team style, but
It's ugly as sin.
It is, but it's also not that bad.
No, it's ugly.
Yeah, you need a new fender there, which probably is going to be super hard to find. Some nice rims. I'm just saying. Oh, check out the shag.
That looks disgusting.
Yeah, it is pretty. Oh no, look, it's supposed to be that way.
It makes me have the heebie-jeebies.
Oh, check that out. Oh my God.
I can't look at it.
You can't. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Well, we won't. Nice. That's my dream car. Okay, honey. It's kind of. I kind of like it. It's kind of cool, but you know. I don't think
so. Rough Rods Restos says it was always a GMC.
Okay. Thank you. I kind of thought it was, but I thought it. You know, this one just kind of gave me the memories of it maybe being that way, but it's probably just an earlier GMC van with the round headlights.
Yeah, exactly. You mean fungus? That looks exactly like fungus. That's why I can't look at it. It makes
granted, I'll give it to you. That does look kind of funky. Okay, it does. That's bad. Okay, we're done. All right, 77 grand for the 77 Dodge van. Is it a buy it or boot it? Because I'm going to say it's a boot it because they do not give enough info in the description. But
so Gracie said that was the dream car. So Gracie had typed that, and then Mom got after her, called her a snitch.
All right. As far as the probably fit the General Lee, same bolt pattern. Yep, yeah, that definitely is probably what sort of thing. And yeah, I definitely see that is not a Pontiac Aztec, a big ass boot. Okay, yeah, okay, great. But I do love this car. I have an irrational love for Pontiac Fieros. I think you guys all know that, so we won't go into that. But let's see what else they've got. Not a lot of. Well, here's a couple of trucks, but they're not.
Ooh, that Lincoln Continental. That's kind of goldish.
This here, 78.
Yeah.
All right. $7,000. 78 Lincoln Continental. All original, missing no parts or no missing parts. Original 460 and transmission. Heater works, AC doesn't. Ooh, in Texas, that's rough. Runs and drives smooth, no leaks at all. Willing to trade for a Chevy pickup or a Chevy car. Okay, apparently they don't like Lincoln. Okay. So let's take a quick look through this. It says it's got 140,000 miles on it. And also looks like it might have a problem with the vacuum actuators for the headlight covers.
I don't know. It looks like a pimp mobile.
Oh, absolutely. This is most definitely a pimp mobile.
Mom or Grayson wants to do the Blazer next.
All right, we can get the Blazer.
Grace, why isn't Gracie on the stream? Why are you sharing accounts, losers?
Yeah, because she. I don't know. Yeah, Gracie, get on here. Help me out. I need the views. I like the interior. I think the interior is cool.
Yeah, it's not fungus, that's for sure.
Oh, that is hilarious.
I'm sorry. I don't know what about it just made me go. Ugh.
It does. It did. The green with the other colors around it definitely looks kind of odd. I'll give you that. But you just change that out for a different sort of shag carpeting.
I say pink, hot pink.
Yeah, okay. That definitely goes with the exterior color of rust. Well,
I
overall,
also feel like
interior on this thing is cherry. Exterior definitely needs some paint correction on the front here, but overall,
I
comes
think.
with it. Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead. No, you.
No, you go.
You.
Okay, I was gonna say it looks like a pitmobile, but also looks like a car that you could put like the horns on the front of it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That would originally, if you're thinking of like the Dukes of Hazzard thing, that was those were Cadillacs. But yeah, definitely looks like this was an oil baron's car back in the late 70s.
Yeah.
And we got Walt saying add wide whites and wear a hat with a feather. Absolutely. And yes, it does. It did look like it comes with a Bose dash speaker, which tells you probably need a whole new stereo system. And yes, it's got a bit of lazy eyes in the front. Overall, it's not bad. I would. I'm not sure I'd do $7,000 on this car. That's just me. I would probably go closer to what Kathy says of about 5.
4.5.
Yeah, Boss Hog. That is right, Pete. Boss Hog with his Cadillac Coupe de Villes, I believe, or Eldorados, maybe. I don't know. Probably
Don't
Coupe
ask
de
me.
Ville.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think myself. All right, buy it or boot it, folks. Buy it or boot it.
Buy it for cheaper.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to do the Blazer next.
Yep, we will go with that Blazer, and then we'll do one more car because we're getting into 9:30 now. We'll do one more car, and then we'll call it good for tonight. So I'll let you guys say whether we're gonna buy that or boot it, and then we'll start looking at this 77 Blazer. Oh, I love the town. Great town name.
What?
You see that? I don't know if
It's
you
too
can see
small.
that.
I can't read it.
Okay. Tool, Texas.
Tool, Texas. Hey, that's where you
Cool.
belong.
Oh. Oh. Hey, Stan, can you pull the knife out of my back? Jeez.
Yeah, I'll just switch it.
Thanks. All right. So what we got here is a 1977 K5 Blazer. 72,000 miles is what they are claiming on this beauty. And they say they believe it's original miles shown on the dash. Small block 400 with a turbo 400 trans, 4-wheel drive, AC, and radio works. That's a good thing. Just drove her 2 hours without a problem. That's also a very good thing. Rust in the usual spots, and this guy can send you more pictures and videos. Okay, $6,000 there, but he's saying 9,500 in here. Or interested in trades. Okay, so what do you want? $6,000 or do you want 9,500?
Well, it looks like it's in decent condition.
Yeah. So I don't like the rims. That's what I'm going to say right off the top. Colors, kind of interesting, but let's take a look through here. And you can tell, see right here on the hood, it's got that normal pinch that these things tend to have. I want one of these things just so I can take the back off and have a semi-convertible. Now this is what Blazers should be, not that piece of crap that they have that are new. Oh, love the shifter, the 8-ball for a shifter. That's funny.
Charming.
Yeah, very charming. But it is Texas. Overall, not bad. Like I say, I do not at all like the rims on this thing, but for 77, it does look like it's in decent shape. I did wish they'd take some pictures of the rust.
Yeah.
But
I would say $5,000 I might do it. I wouldn't definitely not do it for the 90 something
Oh,
9,500.
no, 9,500. I think is a little bit rich. $6,000, I think is a more realistic number for it, especially if it does have. It does look like depend on, like Pete says, what the frame looks like and where the rust is that they're saying that it does have. Yeah, and I thought about that was part of the problem with the hood bending was the stiffeners in the hood, which caused that little buckle on the other side that I pointed out. Very typical problem for these 70s C10s and K5 Blazers. I think they did remedy once it came into the 80s, but yeah, not bad, not bad. But I wouldn't do the 9,500. I'd do 6. And we've got your lovely mother saying $5,000 all day long if it's not too rusty. And of course, Pete saying depending on what the frame looks like. So yep. Overall, not too bad of a thing. Fiberglass cowl hood on it and ride. Absolutely, that's kind of the easiest way to get around it is just put a fiberglass. You're saving some weight on that too. So yep.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, give me the final vehicle for tonight, and let's call this thing done. Yeah, it says 6 at the top, Pete, but if you read down in the bulk of the ad, it says 9,500, which is kind of a lovely bait and switch, but
Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable.
unless the Zimmer. Okay, we'll hit the Zimmer. Okay, it's not saying it's a Zimmer. They're saying it's a rare 83 Cadillac 2-door Opera Coupe. Only 2 were sold in Texas. Okay. 1 owner. My granddad had this custom built for my grandmother. Runs in very good condition, needs minor cosmetics, kept in storage, then undercover for the past few years in Texas. See the post, it's available. So $6,000, 110,000. It definitely does look like a Zimmer, Walt. And you guys are having fun. We'll do more cars. As long as you guys are all happy, we'll do some more cars. And Lane,
Legs are starting to lock up.
hey, if anytime you need to, hop out, don't worry about it. We'll be fine if you want to leave us early. Okay, just let me know what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's look through these pictures of this Cadillac Seville. Looks pretty cool from there, but well. Why does every 80s car that is white have a red or maroon interior? I don't get it.
I don't know, some about complementary colors, but I don't think it looks good.
Yeah, no. Oh, look at the old school cell phone. Car phone.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I intend to stick around for a little bit longer, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to go at some point, so we'll see. Thank you, though.
And I do agree with you, Walt. Put some horns on the hood of this thing. That would be epic. That's definitely interesting, is what I'll say. Definitely interesting.
Is that only front seats, or does it somehow have back seats?
No, it's only a 2-seater.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah. So when these things were new, a Cadillac Seville, they were 4-door. They were a little bit bigger than Zelda, not a ton bigger, but basically where these the tire is in the front here, that the doors would be a lot closer, to say the center of the hubcap on the wheel here, and then there would be 2 more doors, because they were all 4 doors at that point. So
I do not enjoy the tires being there. Let me be honest.
It does look a little odd.
I mean, there's some cars that you can do that and it looks fine, but I don't like it on this one.
Yep. Okay, what we got over here? We got Pete saying horns with the 6-shooters. Yep, I do agree. That would be pretty epic. Limo rear window. Okay. Yeah, you do need to have a little, I think, tint in there. Bustle back era. Yeah, everybody was doing bustle backs back in the early 80s. You had the Seville, you had the Imperial, you had the Continental. I know I'm missing probably a couple in there, but they loved it. All right, folks, are we buying this 83 Cadillac Seville Opera Coupe, or are we going to boot it to the corner? I think it's just a little bit too odd for my taste, so I wouldn't buy that for any sort of money. That's just me. Lainey?
Vigorous thumbs down.
Vigorous thumbs down. And it looks like everybody's saying boot it. Let me go back up into the chat and say, okay, so the last 2 cars we're going to do, and these are absolutely the last ones, guys, so don't give me any more. The Olds 88, which is right here, and then we'll do the Beetle, which is right below it. And then that's going to do it for tonight. And Texas Boot says, well, yep, that one needed a big old boot. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's going to love that car and want to, save it, but not for me. All right, let's check this 82 Olds 88. Kind of looks like what's that?
It looks like the front end is a little higher. It does have hydraulics.
That's what I was gonna say. It looks like it's got some hydraulics maybe or it definitely looks a little odd. But and it doesn't really say what it's got. It just says everything works. Power locks and windows. Yay! Come take it off my hands. Okay, let's see if the pictures help us out with anything. So this is $7,000 with 77,000 miles for this 82 Olds 88. I do like the fact that it's a 2-door. That's kind of cool. What in the... I don't know what to say about that interior. That's okay.
I've got to go, Dad. So it's nice being on the stream, and thank you everyone for coming here, and I had a great time, and I always have a good time. So
thank you, my lovely daughter. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Sleep tight, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. So, again, great having her here. Let's take a look through these last few pictures, but I'm going to tell you right now, they went a little overboard with the red. Just my opinion. If those wire wheels weren't red, I think they would be a little bit more on the cool side. But oh god, I think I threw up a little bit. Okay, guys, are you gonna spend $7,000 on the, well, for lack of a better word, the murder mobile? Because that's what it looks like happened inside, in my humble opinion. I know there's some people that like that stuff. Not for me. All right, so we'll let you guys give us a little thing in there. Now we're going to take our final vehicle for tonight, 1964 Volkswagen Beetle. Darling, what year was your Beetle? It was late 60s, wasn't it? All right, we have a 1964 Beetle for $64.99. I have to imagine, since it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the mileage, that is not accurate, but who knows? And the seller says this is an extremely rare 64 Beetle. All numbers matching. Original 1200cc motor and still is a 6-volt electrical system. Okay. Beetle Dreamer Collector's Dream. Yep. I don't know that those fenders would be correct because I think, and correct me wrong if I'm wrong, guys, but wouldn't the blinkers be down here if it were this old, or did they do both, or what do we got for a cutout here? Let's go through the rest of the pictures though and see what this. Okay, I guess it's not a blinker; it's just some little plug. I like the thing in the back too. That's pretty cool. This is definitely a Volkswagen enthusiast, seeing the thing and the convertible, and you got another bug it looks like here, or maybe that's a Citroen. And there's your 1200cc flat 4. Chrome inches. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Needs the glass over driver's headlight. Does have glass, right? Yep. Yeah, paint definitely looks really original. Now, did they do interior colors different than the outside? That's a question I have no idea on. You can definitely see there's some pretty good, at least surface rust down here, but overall, that's a pretty clean looking interior. Yeah. Definitely got some rust. I'd love to, see what the actual floor pan looks like. Little rust repair back here. Ooh, that's kind of rough looking. Look at the engine again. Oh, new gas tank. Oh, I agree with you, honey. I like it. Pretty cool. All right, guys. Final vehicle for tonight. Yes, they did different colors. Okay, thanks, Pete. Still learning a bunch of stuff on the older cars that I just don't have the knowledge of yet. So thank you for helping out with that, Pete. All right, guys, buy it or boot it. Outside is nice, but interior, yeah, definitely needs a little bit more love inside. But overall, it's in pretty good shape for 64. I'll let you guys give your final remarks there for whether we're buying or booting that thing. I want to thank Delaney for spending the time with us and going through the stories and all that good stuff. Want to thank all of you. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I did forget to get back to those GNX. I've seen that story somewhere else previously. That is a pretty amazing thing to find, two GNXs that are next to new. I really enjoyed the let me just do something here quick. I enjoyed the video that Jay Leno did the other day on what they say was the last GNX, untitled, brand new GNX. Okay, Grand Nationals. Let's pull up this story for you guys. Let's go through it. Oh, let's get that bigger. There we go. Back here. A pair of Grand Nationals pulled from garage after 30 years. Wow. 1,400 combined miles. Okay, so these aren't brand new like the GNX that Leno had on, but somebody knew what they were doing because they did leave the window stickers in, which is quite nice. Grand Nationals, dubbed the Twins, have been pulled out from a garage after deep hibernation for 30 years. Finally, deciding it was time to sell, the owner finally pulled the cars into the sunshine, still covered in decades of dust. He posted it on Facebook for $200,000. Not bad. We'll see if the guy actually gets it. Story about dealing with the owner was weird. Yeah, I bet the guy seems a little interesting, but bought new in '87, or immediately parked after arriving home from the dealership. Sequential VINs. Wow, that is kind of that is an interesting thing to have sequential VIN numbers, because generally those cars wouldn't have gone to a dealership, you know, with sequential VINs. They generally, I think, would send those out to different places, but that's pretty interesting. Posted it on social media. Enthusiast named William and his friend Sean had cash in hand to possibly purchase the Twins. Apparently, owner didn't make it easy. Dude, if you're going to sell the cars and you've got them posted and somebody's there, if they've got, I'm not sure how much they offered the guy, but come on, just sell them. Cash in hand. Apparently, owner made, yeah, but William and his friend finally convinced him to let see the cars. Okay, you're trying to sell them, but you're not going to let the people look at them. No, that's kind of weird. Yes, owner's price is way too much. They are not brand new cars. 1,400 miles between the two of them. It's still mileage on them, and the fact that they've been sitting for that long, not a good thing. Check the cars out, make sure nothing was tampered with or changed since the previous visit. Owner became annoyed and started displaying odd behavior, demanded the cash. Oh. Secured them. Okay. Note to people trying to sell interesting cars like this. Don't be a dick. Sorry, guys, but, you know, if you're trying to sell your cars, 200 grand for a pair of Grand Nationals is a lot of money. Those things, you know, in fantastic shape are maybe a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. They're not a GNX. GNX, if you had sequential GNX VIN number cars, maybe you'd be good, you know, could get 200 grand for those, for the pair. Grand Nationals, they made a lot more of them than the GNXs. They're not worth that much money, even with low miles. And because they've been sitting for 30 years, they're gonna need close to a full restoration, you know, because you gotta, you know, make sure everything's good with the engines. You gotta change all the, you know, rubber pieces out. You gotta, you know, redo the redo the AC system. Electronic, who knows, you know, how many mice may have built nests in there that you've got to worry about wiring. But I'm happy to you know, read that the two people were able to finally buy the cars and save them from the idiot who originally had these cars. Definitely a weird story, and thanks, Pete, for bringing it up, because that really is kind of an interesting one. All right. As I said, okay, that's going to finally do it for us. I really do appreciate, again, everybody that's, come in here and been with us, hanged with us, and went through all the news and whatnot for tonight. As always, dreams without ambition are like cars without gas. You're not going to get very far. God bless. Have a good night. Take care. We'll see you on the next show.